Wanna talk? So let's talk. Here. Talk. You wanna talk? You gotta talk, you need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
Welcome back to Talk to Solomon. Thank you for joining us. My co-host, Brent Johnson of freedomradio.us. Brent, how are you, sir? Do we have Brent?
I'm doing just great, Stan. I'm doing just terrific.
Good. And our guest is Andy Mangione, if I'm saying that right, from AMAC. Andy, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Stan.
It's our pleasure. We've had your fearless leader in the past, and we're big fans of what you're trying to do. Tell us what AMAC stands for.
The Association of Mature American Citizens. It's a 50-plus organization that is providing an alternative to other senior organizations like AARP. It's a conservative, family, faith, freedom-based senior organization.
Now, there are several organizations that are saying that they're an alternative to AARP. And by the way, AARP is a far-left, socialist, Marxist, money-grubbing, cheating organization, and that's the good things I can say about them. But having said that, the reality is that, as usual, getting conservatives together is like herding cats. It's not impossible, it's also improbable. But still, you guys have been successful. You have how many members do you have now?
Approximately 340,000.
So you're the largest of the alternative organizations at this point, are you not?
We think we are, yes.
Okay. Now, why should people join AMAC when, in fact, AMAC is not, quote unquote, as big as, doesn't have as many product choices as, and doesn't have the influence that AARP has?
That's a great question. And actually, we do have the product. We could match our products, product for product, with AARP. But here's why people should join the Association of Mature American Citizens. Other groups, such as AARP, act unilaterally. They go ahead and they say that they represent the best interests for seniors without talking to their membership. AMAC advocates on behalf of our members. We talk to our members, and we have a presence in Washington to influence legislation on behalf of seniors. We have a whole portfolio of insurance products and other products, but we don't want to be known as a senior group that sells products. We are known as a senior group that is a true advocacy group on behalf of our members. We've experienced phenomenal growth, and we have the ear of people on Capitol Hill, thanks to our lobbying efforts on Capitol Hill.
Brent, you have a question for our guest, Andy, here.
Well, my big thing, every week I seem to get something in the mail from AARP, which helps to keep the janitorial staff working. But it seems like every week, they want me to join, AARP obviously is a political action committee. I'm presuming that your organization is also, acting as a political action committee of sorts. The question I would have is not whether you have influence, but to what degree you have seen your influence reflected in the current Congress. How are the positions that you are pushing for on behalf of the membership, how are they being received by Congress?
That's a great question. We have a solution to Social Security that has been well received. You can go into the details about our solution on Social Security on our website, which is amac.us, if I may say that.
Sure.
And actually, we've been in front of senators and representatives of Congress on the Hill presenting our solution to Social Security. And the feedback that we've received from them is very positive. You have to keep in mind, we're building members every single day, and the more members we build, the larger our influence grows. But we're very encouraged with the way that our Social Security plan has been received, not only in the halls of the House of Representatives, but in the Senate as well. We've got a presence in Washington, D.C., and again, before we take action, we talk to our members and ask them, is this a specific, if there's a specific issue that we want to become involved in, we ask our members, is this something that you want us to pursue? Is this the reason why you joined AMAC? And I can understand one of the differences between AMAC and AARP is we tell people who we are. We're a conservative organization. Faith, family, and freedom is what we're about. And we also provide, we also want to provide member benefits as well. But make no mistake, our priority is to advocate on behalf of seniors first. And we also want to provide them with the benefits of joining a buying group. But we're an advocacy group first. Our ideas are being heard more and more on Capitol Hill with this Congress. And we're very encouraged by the feedback.
Now, Andy, AMAC is AMAC, so it's amac.us, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. If someone wants to join AMAC, but is not at this point interested in a quote-unquote product of any sort, can they do so? And if so, what does it cost? It's
$16 for a household, and that would include the whole house. They don't have to buy anything from us. They could join our organization. They'd have access to our magazine that comes out on a quarterly basis, any email blasts of any type of information that we're providing for our members. But there's certainly no obligation to purchase insurance from us. It's there if you need it. There's other discounts on travel and hotels. Again, that's not the main thrust of what we're doing. It's there, and we want to compete with organizations like AARP, so we have to put together a product portfolio, and we don't mind doing that, but it's not the reason why we created AMAC. $16 per household, and you're a member, and you don't have to buy anything.
All right, I appreciate that. Now, let me ask you about the elephant in the room. Obama could care less, also known as Obamacare. What is AMAC's position on Obamanation care?
It's a horrible law, and it's going to. We want it repealed. Plain and simple, repeal Obamacare. It's not something that's going to be beneficial to folks, Americans in general, and seniors in particular. We believe it's going to drive up the cost of health care. We believe it's bad law, and we want it gone as quickly as possible.
Now, let me ask you this question. We have an election coming up. I know that's news, and you didn't know that being in Washington, D.C. And today, of course, we have the Wisconsin election, which, if it goes as expected, and God knows only we don't, and Governor Scott Walker is retained, and if the Republican senators are retained, then we have a situation where there's a great deal of, momentum, let's call it. You're talking to an existing Congress, many of whom are retiring, in the Senate particularly, and where there's great expectation that there's going to be some changes from the president's office down through control of the Senate, and possibly even a dramatic difference in the House. Can you tell me what the mood is, what you're hearing from A, the people that expect to be back, B, the people that are retiring or don't expect to be back, and C, the rest of the buzz there?
Well, the buzz is very positive for a positive result, meaning there's a, not to get cocky, but there's a confidence that's permeating. There will be a Republican Senate that'll be attained, and the Republicans will win the White House. People aren't running. They recognize the president is a formidable opponent, an excellent campaigner, knows. I mean that's documented. So it's not overconfidence, it's not cockiness, but judging from the mood of the representatives' constituents and what they're hearing in their districts, there's a lot of confidence that the House will be retained, the Senate will switch to Republican, and the Republicans will win the White House. It's not a slam dunk by any means. It's going to be a bitter struggle. People are digging in, and I think that you can see this confidence reflected by the money that's being raised, not only by Mitt Romney, but by Scott Walker in Wisconsin. The Republicans in his group, his organization, his campaign actually outfunded the Democratic effort, which, as you know, Stan, was led by Big Labor.
That's an incredible accomplishment. Now, Romney, you mentioned Romney. I'm going to vote for Mitt Romney. I'm going to encourage everyone I know to vote for Mitt Romney. I'm going to cross my fingers, cross my heart, and pull back my crossbow, because I'm scared to death that Romney will revert to Romney, not someone else. He just hired or selected Governor Levitt of Utah, who is just to the left of Lenin, in my humble opinion, to be in charge of his transition in certain areas. And both Levitt and Romney were in favor of an Obamacare-like approach.
Right.
Romney came out and said, no, I'm for repealing Obamacare. I believe him. But he's going to replace it with Romney Care. What is your thought?
Well, you make a great point, Stan, and I think that and I want to make this point about AMAC as well. We are nonpartisan, but we're conservative. We make no bones about our conservatism. Okay. That said, should Mitt Romney win the presidency, it will make organizations like AMAC and media like your show even more relevant, because we're going to have to hold these Republicans accountable to conservatism. And I think that, and I know exactly what you're talking about with the transition chief that Romney chose. He favors implementing part of Obamacare, and I almost fell off my chair when I read that. And it's as if he's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But organizations like AMAC and media like your show will be even more relevant to hold these folks accountable. So my thoughts are, yes, in some cases, some folks may feel they have to hold their nose to press the lever for a Mitt Romney, but if you consider the alternative, they can rest assured that there are organizations like AMAC and shows like yours to hold their feet to the fire to help them be accountable to these conservative values that that we live our lives by.
Well, again, I agree. That doesn't keep me from being filled with trepidation, frankly. Now, let me ask you this. If you look at what Levitt said, or in the past, he was for co-ops. You know what? I'm all for co-ops. I think that people should be able to buy whatever product they want to buy from whomever sells the product, with appropriate, regulations in place. So if what they're saying is we want people to buy from any insurance company in America, that's a good thing. That was a Republican conservative concept. But what if he's saying is we want states to create controlled markets? Then that is anti-American, frankly, not to mention anti-conservative, anti-logical, and anti-acceptable. Am I making my point?
You are making your point. And I agree with you. There's nothing wrong. I mean, McCain back in 2008 was advocating for the sale of insurance across state lines, meaning that if you left your job, you'd take your health insurance and you would take it from job to job. It would be portable. And if you had interstate sale of health insurance, what do you think that would do to the premiums? The premiums would drop. All right. I hear what you're saying with regard to having some kind of federal interference with exchanges or state interference with exchanges. The more the private sector is involved, the more people will benefit, and the more, and I guess truer savings, and the more savings will be realized by the consumer, i.e. the American public.
All right. We have Brent back. We lost him for a minute. Brent, I'm glad you're back with us. I'm going to ask Andy another question, then I'll ask you to jump in. Andy, one of the reasons we had you on is your booker talked about the drug deals. Now, when we think of drug deals, we think of back alley lowlifes hooking new people and taking advantage of existing users. Well, I don't think the federal government's any different. I think that we have a bigger problem with legal drugs than we do with illegal drugs. Far too many people take them. Far too many people are hooked on them. Far too many people are mandated, even physically forced to take the drugs. And now we've got the government making deals with the drug manufacturers at the expense of, in my opinion, both the freedom and the health of the American people. Am I close?
Yes, you're close. And what we discovered is, and this has been out there for a while, is that there's evidence that when I mean evidence, I mean that there's been some documents, and there's a Texas congressman named Mike Burgess who has evidence that say the documents that he has described a sequential, planned, organized strategy for the White House to trade policy for politics. So what we do know is that there was some sort of deal that was cut. We don't know the specifics of the deal, and what AMAC is calling for is an investigation into the specific deal, specifically to find out what kind of benefits the White House would receive from a deal cut with Big Pharma.
And that, of course, one can conjecture, but no conjecture would have it coming out to the benefit of the American people, but rather to the benefit of the companies and to the political machine of the president. Brent, you have a comment here?
Yeah, well, I just covered a story about this where Obama entered a drug deal. In this case, the drug deal was, with the big pharma corporations. I mean, from a standpoint of thuggery, it makes perfect sense. We're going to sit there and we're going to tell the seniors that we're going to give them drugs. Then we're going to give them your corporation's drug. We're going to spend a certain amount of money with you in order to promote this. I grew up in a medical family. My dad was a physician. And my father taught me that 98% of what goes wrong with the human body will fix itself. Maybe doctors can help with the other 2%. In other words, my father was not a pill pusher, and he didn't teach me to take a pill every time you feel bad. We have a whole series of generations that are being taught just that. Take a pill. You don't feel good, take a pill. You're depressed, take a pill. You're happy, take a pill. Whatever's going on, take a pill. And I'm not even going to start with the profit markups that these corporations get. It's unbelievable. I would like to see a generation of seniors who get away from the take a pill mentality. I personally think that they will live longer if they would stop taking the government position on take a pill.
Well, I agree with you totally. Now, Andy, I don't think that you're deciding what medication people should or should not have. You're saying that something called blue sky should be applied, that any deals, any agreements, any arrangements should be full light of day, and everyone should know every piece and particular part of it. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what we're saying, and there's evidence that shows that that didn't take place. This, if you recall, when the president was campaigning in 2008, he was going to change the tone, shine light on every aspect of any policy. He even went so far as to say that he would televise hearings on healthcare reform on C-SPAN. None of that happened. And when the announcement was made that a deal had been struck with Big Pharma, the president was adamant that the White House was not involved, that it was done through other channels. Well, there's evidence now that shows that the White House was involved at the highest level, including Rahm Emanuel, his chief of staff, and other folks close to the president. The White House had their finger. It appears as if the White House has their fingers all over this deal with Big Pharma. What has to happen, and it flies in the face of any transparency promise that the president has been making since 2008. We want to know what the deal was. We know that there's a deal, and we're demanding an investigation. And I should say our members are demanding an investigation into the specifics of this deal. And we already know who's involved because the evidence has been out stating who was involved from the president's staff. But it clearly, the White House was involved. There was no transparency. And Congress, both parties in Congress, was shut out of these negotiations with pharma.
Well,
so
obviously we have an emperor, and we just didn't realize that was put into our election laws, that we were electing an emperor rather than a chief executive, limited and constrained by the Constitution. Now, let's get back to AMAC for a moment, because that's, our goal is to get another 375,000 people to join.
Thank you.
If in fact, and by the way, I'm going to join you tomorrow. I had not joined in the past, but I'll join. And I'm a senior citizen, well past retirement, and haven't taken anything made by a pharmaceutical company in 30 years. Not so much as a single aspirin. So that's my vote. But you said that AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, at amac.us, interacts with, listens to, and follows the directives and dictates of its members. How do you do that?
Good question. We do that through email blasts. We do that through snail mail. We do it on our website. There's an interactive forum on our website. You could go to amac.us right now and vote in the poll. And the question just happens to be, should we be involved in demanding an investigation into the deal that was cut by the White House with Big Pharma? And you'll see overwhelmingly this is what our members want us to do. That they would like us to pursue that issue. We engage, and what we find, and Stan, I think you'll agree with me when you talk about conservatives. Conservatives are the same across the board. A conservative is engaged politically, informed politically, motivated. If there's a call to action, a conservative will act. Our members are active and engaged. 50 plus, age 50 plus, these folks vote. These folks are members of the Tea Party. These folks protest. They had never done it before prior to 2009, but they're in the game and they're learning more and more about what's going on. You've mentioned we did not know. Actually, I suspect that you knew, and I certainly was hoping that we did not get an emperor in 2008, but we did. The more light that's shed on this president, the more our membership grows. And we would be honored to count you as a member of AMAC, Stan.
Well, you can count on that. Brent?
Yeah, just a comment about the idea that Congress was not informed. And as much as I despise Obama and I refer to him as the illegitimate president because he is not a natural-born citizen, so he's ineligible to be president, I also have to say that what Congress has failed to do is to keep this president in check. It may be that Congress was not informed about this, but now Congress knows about it. And what are they doing? Will they impeach him? No. Okay, will they hold him to task? No. Congress has a single-digit in the toilet approval rating because it will not hold the president to the law. So the fault here gets spread around, not just to the White House that engaged in the drug deal, but to the impotent Congress that refuses to do anything about it.
Well said, Brent. And by the way, I don't know if you'll agree with this, Andy, but it's my opinion that if the Republicans take the Senate and the Republicans maintain control of the House or increase their majorities in the House, they will, believe it or not, hold Romney and his actions, where they'll do it with the Republican, they won't do it with the Democrat, and that's a whole discussion that anyone in Washington probably understands. Chief Steve, who's normally with us on the show, was called away tonight, always says Republicans consider politics a debate. Democrats consider politics a war. You cannot win a war if you're simply coming to a debate. And, John Bonner, who I happen to know, and I think he's a very nice man, on a scale of 1 to 10, he's 12 below 0 when it comes to standing up and acting like he's in charge of anything. Right. Am I alone in that feeling, Andy?
No, no, you're not. What you've described, I personally agree with. I think, and it stems from the worldview of conservatism. We're constantly on the defense. We just don't think the way our liberal friends do, and consequently, and Republicans specifically in the House and in Congress generally. They just don't. They're afraid to step on toes. They're afraid about. They still think they could make friends and cross the aisle and compromise, and the Democrats will stick it to them every chance they can get. And that's been a pattern for as long as I've been alive, and it's certainly not going to go anytime soon. And you're right. Should there be a Republican House and a Republican Senate and a Republican president, they will hold the Republicans will hold the Republican president accountable like we certainly haven't seen with this president.
All right, we're just out of time. Again, a minute about your organization, where people can go and why they should join.
Thank you very much, Stan. The organization is AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, AMAC.US. We advocate conservative values for our senior membership. We're growing rapidly. We're adding thousands of members per month. Thanks to people like you, Stan. Please visit us at amac.us, $16 per household per year. Thank you
for being with us, Andy. Brent will be with us as we talk to still another guest, Dr. James Hutchins, in the next half hour. Stay tuned, everyone. Hey folks, this is Stan Solomon, and I talk to smart people all the time. I've got one of the smartest people around on how to make money from home. His name is Ted Williams, and Ted, well, it's a tough economy out there.
It is, but if you've got the right vehicle and some good advice, you can make it even in this economy.
All right. Well, how can you make money in this economy if you don't have money already?
Well, I tell people right now that in this economy there are really two businesses that I would say work good times, bad times. And the first one costs several $1 million to get involved in, and that's necessity food. You know, you go to the grocery store, people are going to eat. It doesn't matter. We're gonna do that. But can you imagine or think for a minute, what is the other business that everybody's involved in?
Well, let me think for just a minute. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody lives based on a cell phone. In fact, I don't know anyone that doesn't have one, but cell phone business is expensive to get into.
Well, it is if you're buying a brick and mortar store and you want to tie yourself to a conventional business, have inventory, overhead, theft, all the stuff that goes with it, and then you have an opportunity with our business opportunity to for under $300 to be able to operate in 50 states and all the U.S. territories and soon to be international.
Now, wait a minute. Is this one of those deals where you can only talk between 8:15 and 8:22 at night on Tuesdays?
No, this is actually running on one of the nation's largest nationwide networks, and we even have roaming for those people that are traveling between major highways, and we have the top-of-the-line phones. We've got some of the best Android phones, the newest Android phones that have come out on the market, as well as some simple flip phones for people that's all they want to do is talk.
Now, how does the fee for this service compare with the major companies?
Well, right now, if you get all of the service and you use a lot of internet or a lot of data, you can easily spend $150 a month. In fact, some of the companies that are advertising unlimited data are actually giving you unlimited data, but the first gig is high speed, then they slow it down to 56K. You can't even use it. It's unlimited, but you can't use it. With ours, it's truly unlimited talk, text, and web, and the great thing with us, you can develop a business and earn free service for the rest of your life.
Can you earn more than free service? That saves you $100, $150 a month, but that's only the start, right?
Obviously, there's a lot of income opportunity if you want to treat it as a real business. And you know, at under $300 to get started, we have a fast start program for our representatives where they can recoup their investment in their first month if they just are serious. We also have a unique feature. Knowing what we're talking about, if you had a friend and you're not a representative, but you are earning free cell phone service, wouldn't you tell your friends about it?
Especially if it would help me to keep that free service.
Well, what we have is a program where you can refer a few friends, even if you're not a representative. You could be a customer, and you refer a few friends or family members that get our service. That would earn you free service. So our representatives can get it as well as our customers.
So you're saying with a national competitive company, you have the ability to give unlimited, true unlimited service with the latest and greatest phones or less if that's what you want, and that not only can you have free service, but all your customers can have free service by referring people, and I assume if they're your customers, then you make some override, right?
Absolutely. You can actually have a network of representatives that you're earning overrides on, as well as their customers, and you benefiting financially from that. So it's big money at a low cost and low investment, and all the tax advantages of being self-employed and write your own schedule.
This is not a brand new company that just trying this out. This is a proven, publicly traded, high-quality company?
Yeah, they've been in the telecom industry for over 18 years. And, you know, just having money will not get you in the cell phone, in the wholesale cell phone game. There's 3 or 4 companies that dominate, and they won't give up any of their share with someone with no experience. Our company has been involved in data billing, customer service in the telecom industry for years and years, and we were the first in the market at the wholesale level.
Folks, this is an exciting opportunity, maybe for you. We can't tell you what's right or wrong. There's a phone number you can call, 800-299-8362, or you can go to cpnlive.com and click on the icon that says Make Money from Home, and all the information will be there. Ted, thanks so much.
Thank you.